We are privileged to spend a few minutes with Isom this morning.
And the most difficult thing we have in politics is our ability or lack of ability to communicate. And that was her job, was make sure that I said the right things and said it in the right way. And so the two toughest jobs that I had in my staff, Chief of Staff and Communications, handled. She understands priorities and prioritizes correctly, but she is one of the hardest workers I've ever known.
So many times we are angry and focused on personalities and culture wars instead of good policy and principles. And my hope is that we can pivot our country back to the principles that matter most. These principles matter: individual freedom, limited government, the rule of law, fiscal responsibility, free markets, low taxes. And I believe government closest to the people governs best. When I worked for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and as a business leader, I often was bringing people together on really thorny issues. My portfolio for the LDS Church, for example, when I first began, was LGBTQ issues, women's issues, race issues, interfaith issues. And my job was to bring people to the table who disagreed. Sometimes it seemed like we were at an impasse, but I can tell you, there's ways to start that dialogue. You take the emotion out of the vocabulary and you listen to understand, and you start to walk in each other's shoes a little bit, and you can make progress. You can find solutions and understanding. I believe you can't represent people you've never met or places you've never been. So when I began this campaign, I pledged to walk in every Utah community, in every city and town. These are Utahns. These are my why. I just have to think about these incredible people. When people tell me how hopeless the world is, I think about these people and say, turn off cable news and come walk with me. My top priority is number one is water. Finding water solutions, especially infrastructure solutions. We have some storage issues that need to be addressed. There are lots of other solutions that can be worked on at the federal level. Number two is the economy, specifically inflation and how it ties into the energy industry in our state. I believe when government turns the knobs, often it turns them too far. So I think sometimes we have to exercise some discipline and restraint and allow some things to shake out. I don't think you should intrude on the private market any more than government has to. Very light touch, very surgical solutions. We are sitting on some of the cleanest energy resources in the world, and our country is now more vulnerable than we've ever been in energy because we gave up energy independence. A strong country is a safe country. And we have potential strength that we're ignoring in natural resources. And we've lost jobs because of overregulation, because of overreach for federal policy. The United States should be an energy leader in the world, not just energy independence, but dominance. I would like to see a balanced budget amendment in our country. So that's going to be one of the biggest fights I have. We've stopped talking about it. And I know we can't flip a switch tomorrow. That would be disastrous. So why aren't we on some kind of austerity program? When a household goes over budget, what do? You pay things down incrementally over time. When you see people for who they are, you can start to realize we actually have so much more in common. So I think it's important for our political leaders in particular to model better behavior, to model a better way to have the dialogue. I really do believe tone starts at the top. Leaders have to be sensitive to the fact that their actions matter just as much as their words. And if you really are about coalition building, then the people with whom you're working aren't going to find out what position you took through cable news. You're going to communicate with them directly. We can't let government solve every problem. It's time to make some tough calls. You have to have tough conversations and everybody committed to a mutual vision. That takes real leadership. So we need to elect leaders that actually are committed to solutions and policy instead of just what gets them reelected. Jumping into this race took some courage, but it felt like a time when I wanted my country back and good people have to get off the sidelines. We can't sit on the sidelines. It's not about being right, it's about getting it right. Chambers make a difference in the vision for the local community. So I'm just waving my pom-poms for you all right now. Thank you.